In the quiet suburbs of Brookside Lane, neighbors often described Emily Harper and her husband Michael as the picture of stability. Michael was a successful real estate investor, disciplined, respected, and generous with his wealth. Emily played the part of the perfect wife, friendly, attentive, always hosting neighborhood gatherings. But appearances, as they say, can be deceiving. Behind the smiles and manicured lawns, Emily was living a double life. For months, she had been carrying on an affair with their next-door neighbor, Daniel Morris. What started as friendly chats across the backyard fence had grown into something forbidden. Their secret meetings turned into whispered promises of a new life, one that required Michael out of the picture. By late September of 2019, those whispers had turned into a deadly plan. That night, as Michael descended the stairs with a glass of wine in hand, Emily gripped a baseball bat so tightly her knuckles went white. Daniel lingered nearby, waiting for her to act. With a trembling breath, Emily swung. The crack of the bat against Michael's skull echoed through the house. Michael collapsed instantly, blood pooling on the hardwood floor. Convinced he was dead, Emily and Daniel dragged his body to the basement and covered him with a tarp. Their plan was chillingly simple: report him missing, let suspicion die down, and claim his fortune. 3 days later, Emily walked into the police station, tears streaming down her face as she reported her husband missing. She spoke of her worry, her confusion, her grief. Detectives at first considered it might be a random act of violence. Their suspicions even grew when Michael's car was found abandoned downtown, keys still in the ignition. But Emily had underestimated one thing: Michael wasn't dead. When forensic investigators combed through the Harper home, they found faint traces of blood in the basement. Pulling back the tarp, they discovered Michael, still breathing, weak, unconscious, but alive. Emily's heart must have stopped when she learned that her husband had survived the blow, because that was when her plan shifted. Instead of finishing him off in violence, she turned to something far more calculated. Using her connection with Daniel, Emily began secretly injecting Michael with a powerful sedative she obtained from a local pharmacy. The drug didn't kill him. It weakened him, slowed his recovery, and kept him trapped in a fragile state for months. But before we continue, I would like you to smash the like button and also subscribe to this channel if you have not. Okay, let's continue. And in one of the most chilling details of all, Emily and Daniel continued their affair right in front of him. As Michael lay powerless in the basement, his body too weak to move, his voice too faint to call for help, he could hear their whispers, their laughter, and sometimes even the sound of their embraces. He was forced to watch the woman he loved share moments of intimacy with the man plotting his death. For nearly half a year, Michael drifted between life and death, his mind aware but his body betraying him. But fate has a way of catching up. As the weeks dragged on, the lead detective on the case, Detective Harris, remained unconvinced by Emily's performance. Something about her grief felt staged. He noted her nervous habits, her vague answers, the way she always seemed to have an explanation ready, too ready. Then came the twist that unraveled it all. One ordinary afternoon, Detective Harris stopped at a local pharmacy to pick up medication for his mother. While waiting at the counter, he overheard the pharmacist mention Emily Harper's name. Curious, he asked questions. That's when he learned Emily had been making regular, quiet purchases of a strong sedative. Not the kind of drug a grieving wife would normally need. The discovery sent shockwaves through the investigation. Detectives secured a warrant and searched Emily's belongings. Hidden in her vanity drawer, they found vials of the same sedative, partially used along with syringes. Medical tests on Michael confirmed the drug was in his system. The very medicine that had kept him weak for months had also become the evidence that exposed Emily's ongoing attempt to silence him. When confronted, Daniel cracked again under pressure. He admitted to the affair, the plotting, and the injections, but claimed it was all Emily's idea. The prosecution, however, saw them both as partners in crime. By late 2020, the case went to trial. The courtroom was packed with reporters and neighbors who once saw Emily as a sweet, suburban wife. They listened in disbelief as the affair, the conspiracy, and the months-long poisoning came to light. Prosecutors revealed text messages in which Emily described Michael as an obstacle and spoke of how the medicine was Working slowly, Michael, frail but alive, appeared in court. His testimony was haunting. He described moments of waking in darkness, unable to move, his body betraying him while the world carried on above. He spoke of hearing footsteps, laughter, and sometimes even the intimacy of his wife with another man, while he lay powerless in the shadows of his own basement. The betrayal cut deeper than any wound. In the end, Emily Harper and Daniel Morris were both found guilty of attempted murder, conspiracy, and assault. The dream of wealth and freedom they had built in whispers ended in prison sentences and shattered reputations. For the residents of Brookside Lane, the case was a chilling reminder that the most dangerous monsters aren't always strangers lurking in the shadows. Sometimes they're the people smiling beside you at the dinner table, or waving from across the fence. What began as love ended in betrayal. What began as a marriage ended in handcuffs. And a man who was nearly erased by the person he trusted most lived to tell the story.